back to the Green Room Podcast. My name is Massimo Stefano. We're here at the lovely Franklin Theater in downtown Franklin, Tennessee, where it is the home of first kisses.
Whoa.
I haven't said that one before.
Yeah, no.
But that's true. Where a show is only the beginning. I know, that's our other one.
Really?
Yeah. But then it's like...
I should have known that, maybe.
Yeah, but it's also like the beginning. Okay, but once the show ends, it's like, no, leave.
I guess, yeah.
It's kind of a dumb...
I guess, yeah, you're right.
I don't know. All right, who are you?
I'm Brendan. Yeah, I'm Brendan. I bought this jacket this morning from Walmart. Shout out Walmart. Walmart is basically the new Target.
You got the drip on today, man.
What can I say? I got the Jordans on with the pink bottoms. The jacket.
I didn't really mean those. Those are kind of dirty, but I meant the jacket and the hat.
Okay, let's stop. The hat... I feel like a Nashville person to a T because this is what every Nashville guy wears hat-wise. So not even just this hat, but this style of hat.
It's not a trucker hat, but what is it?
It's like the trucker hat, but the full material.
Yeah.
With the snap in the back and the green underneath. Yeah.
I don't think green underneath makes it.
It does.
A Nashville
lot in well, not Nashville, but like the style of hat. Whatever. Anyway. You know Sevi, who we've talked about before. This hat is from the Sevi show we played the other day. Sevi, who we played with previously.
So a week ago, actually.
Oh, yeah.
A week ago today, yeah.
We played the basement show with him.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. Is that the only show I've played with y'all?
You did the basement, the Raised Rowdy.
I feel like there's a third.
I feel like there's also a third one. That might be it, though.
I think that might be it.
Okay.
I think it might be it. Anyway. And yeah, it was fun. The first guy that played was Fregley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. He was also one of the kids. Yeah, the redheaded guy that played first. You were sitting in there making the episode, but
I thought the guy from
Talladega Nights.
Yeah,
it's the same person. It's the same person. The kid that plays Fregley in Diary of a Wimpy Kid is also the little kid in Talladega Nights.
Oh, wow.
And he opened, I'm forgetting his name right now.
The redhead.
He was super good, actually. He's got a cool voice, and the band was good, too. The drummer had double kicks all over the place. Actually, there was multiple bands that night that had double kicks all over, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay.
Country music with double kicks, I'll take it.
It wasn't all country. It was mostly country.
Mostly country, but like rock and country, not like cutesy country.
Or bro country.
A little bit.
Some bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was some bro.
And it was at Riley Green's Duck Blind, the new bar.
Yeah.
And which is connected to Losers.
Mm-hmm.
And sitting in Losers was Kid Rock and Uncle Cracker. So that was cool. Just hanging out, having a few drinks around their security, which was cool. They were just chilling. And then no shade, but we were supposed to go on at 10:20.
A little bit of shade.
We went on at like midnight.
Some guy, because it's 15-minute sets, he took 45 minutes. And then, everyone else goes a little bit over, too.
Because they go, well, he went 45. Why do I need 6:15?
I'll
do 20.
Yeah. So our original start time was 10:30. Yeah, it was like 11:45 when we started.
Yeah,
it was
tough.
Really dumb.
But we played, and the show went good, I like to think.
Yeah,
we, on the spot, did No Diggity.
Yeah.
Which Sevi, I can't believe Sevi pointed that out before we played it.
I know. We got to go, and he's like, yeah, our bass player's never played it before. Let's go. Like, it was.
And then I immediately went, I have to nail this.
You didn't do that bad.
Someone's
running around. There's a couple of just pushes that, like, if we actually sat down and learned it, but you didn't.
There was a couple.
There was
little
no
spots,
big flubs.
but no,
no, it was perfectly fine for being like 20 minutes before. Hey, you want to do?
And then he put a bass solo in there, and I did a bass solo.
Yeah,
which 60% of it was just chromatic. That's doing bass solos. If you're a bass player, or even like I watch Jake watch me, and I would do a little lick here and there and try to be like a little rhythmic or whatever and get a little groove, and then I would just go, oh, chromatic.
I just played a shuffle for mine. I told him, I was like, I'm not a big soloer. Call me whatever you want. And I don't know.
It was fun though. It was a good show.
4 bars.
We'll get into it a little bit later, it was my first time using a new piece of gear, which we'll talk about after we do our little thing in the middle.
Okay.
Which is no longer a surprise. We do it every time. If you listen to us every time, you know what we do in the middle of every episode. Anyway, the monitor situation was interesting because there was 5 of them along the front, but not one of them was giving me anything.
I didn't have any wedge, so that's cool.
But it actually was kind of nice because then we just kind of like played. Like I wasn't worrying about what I was hearing. Yeah. I was just playing.
You know, I remember because I used to just do gigs like that, like with Justin Schumacher. And I remember the first time we got in the studio, I was like, wait, that's what you guys are playing? Like, I had no idea. Because even in our rehearsal space, we had like 2 speakers, like just one point at one way, one point at the other. It was still loud, like no clarity in anything.
Yeah.
And the first time we recorded it was at Smokestack. And just my world opened up and I was like, oh, you play. I was either like, man, you kind of suck, or man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's something for like local bands once they get to that point of recording music and they're able to hear meticulously. Like that's such a cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so we didn't have that last night.
Yeah.
Or last week.
Yeah. No, but it was a fun show. It was a little crammed on stage. And you were like facing us. But you were at the one end facing this way, and then we were all facing out.
Yeah, I was facing you guys, but you guys were facing the audience.
Yeah, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But have you noticed that a lot of people have been doing that lately? Putting the drummer on like
sideways?
Stage right, pointed in, like touring acts, like big acts.
Didn't Post Malone just do that?
Post Malone did that. Somebody else did that. There's a pop act that's doing that right now. Limp Bizkit. There's also a couple of metal bands that are doing that. I mean, I get it. You can see the drummer better, and like he's closer to the audience. But like sound-wise, he's closer to the PA.
Yeah.
Visually, I feel like it throws you off, and then you have all this upstage that like has always for the longest time been drummer.
Well, unless you fill it with something else, like if there's a massive keys world or something, or else then it just looks
Limp Bizkit,
lopsided.
his DJ stand is like 20 feet tall at center stage.
That just seems excessive.
Maybe not 20, maybe like 10, 15 feet, but still it's
excessive.
tall. Yeah.
Just put a 9-foot table out.
I don't know. I've just seen that a lot lately, and I'm like, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to do that.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't.
Imagine
I like being
Carter
center.
from Dave Matthews being sideways facing Dave.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. It'd be dumb.
It would be dumb. Watch him do it at Pilgrimage.
Carter needs to be center.
Watch him do it at Pilgrimage.
They won't. Carter, they have the same set every stage they play on. It's the same setup every time.
And you would know.
I would know. Because I'm a big fan.
Okay. Oh, man. Well,
you want to talk
after
about the show you did after that?
Yeah, after Sevy's gig, my head did not hit the pillow till 2 a.m. that night. I stayed at my buddy Jake's place.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't stay with Sevy. Jake is the keys player and the guitar player for Sevy. And he lived a little bit further north because the next morning I think my call was 7 or 8 in the morning. I don't remember. I had to be at the Ryman for a load-in for this. Oh, well, it might have been. I think it's called something corporate.
Yeah.
Was that the one I was just saying?
I saw a video of the show. Yeah.
Yeah. But side note, I remember someone like from our crew or something was like, it's an odd name because they threw it up on the billboard outside of the Ryman, like the little digital screen. It said tonight, something corporate. And they were like, if I walked by and saw that, I'd be like, oh, it's a private event. I can't go.
But I think that's like the whole point of them naming the band that. That was the whole point.
Discouraging people from going to see the show?
No, you read it as like, oh, something. What's the name of the band again? I already forgot.
I just said it.
I know. I already
something
forgot.
Corporate.
Something corporate. You read it and go, oh, something corporate, and then you look at and you go, oh, it's band.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. Cool. I wouldn't even look it up. It's like, oh, it's a corporate gig. I can't.
I don't know. I think it was intentional.
I mean, yeah, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So I was there. I had this gig over the weekend, which I was supposed to leave at 8 p.m. for on a flight, and then the day before, changes were made to my travel arrangements, and I was supposed to be driving now because it was just to Atlanta. Leaving around 3:30 p.m. So I didn't have all the time in the world now because I actually was gonna come into work here for an hour or two and then go to the airport. But instead, I got picked up. We drove for 4 hours. This is Thursday. Friday, it's a middle school retreat. It's really fun. I did it last year. Friday's all day of prep day, which went so smooth. It was a console. It was an M32, but for some reason they had all this extra gear. They had I forget what brand the stage box was, but it was the multi-pin thing, and they had like 3 of them. But I was like, I'm using an M32. There's no rack unit to connect that multi-pin up to the console.
Yeah.
But thankfully if they have the M32 stage box. I was like, okay, I just need that. Everything's going to run to that one Cat 5 cable, and that's the run. If they didn't have that box, I don't know what I would have done. But because did you just touch my foot?
It's all right. It was an accident.
But it was a weird thing because the guy that advanced it was actually there, and he was helping me set up. And what he knew, I didn't know, and what I knew, he didn't know. It was perfect. I think he came to like 1 or 2 of them last year because there's 5 or 6 I'm doing this year. I was like, dude, you need to come out every time because not that last year. It wasn't a complete struggle last year, but it was just my hands were just hands, right? They didn't. There might have been an audio guy. They're just grunt work, and they say move there, and I'm not the best at delegating, but I can say, hey, I just need this done. But there's not a specific like, hey, I'm your like A2 or whatever. It's just like a, oh yeah, I'm A1 by the way. It was pretty cool. But it ran so smooth. The only little hiccup was the wireless stuff. But I mean, it was just a matter of like cable plug. Like it was like, oh, we'll just do it. And it was great. I left that day because the band showed up at 2 or 2:30, and then their sound check was at 3. We had a hard out at 5. Although I think we got an extra half hour because the DJ pulled up a little later too. We had to get him. But it was like out at 5:30. I think we were in at 8 or 8:30.
It's a good
deal. And everything's set up. And last year I would leave, and last year a lot of our out times were like 7 or 8. So I was surprised it was 5:30. I was a little worried, but we were cooking early in the day because I think we all knew we had to be out a little bit earlier than usual, which is fine. I want to be out earlier, but it ran really well.
Yeah.
And the next day was real smooth from a production standpoint, and nothing was bad. And then we left that night, Saturday night, go back. As opposed to flying Sunday. It was a weird thing. I don't know. I want to get your insight because you were there when I got the text saying, hey, we're driving, not flying, the day before we leave. And I'm not saying any names. I'm not saying the company.
Yeah, and that's why
we're on a fine, a good
that's
relationship.
Why I don't want to say too much.
What?
Because you know the way I feel about it.
Well, it wasn't the best thing.
I think you should have been much more upset about it than you were.
No. Well, I mean, and I talked to the people in charge. Like, it was a communication error. We're going to be more diligent about it. And I was like, okay, cool. It's like all.
Are they going to fly you everything else, or are they going to start driving you everywhere?
No. Well, this was because it was closer. It's Atlanta, and also they were trying to save some bucks. I was like, that's cool and all, but I'm just a contractor, and I'm happy to be a part of this. But I don't know. I didn't want to make it weird, and I still don't. But it's like I don't know.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, I just said something after the fact because I was like, hey. Basically, I was like, let's just like not do that again.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. Let's just not. And you can change travel plans, but not the day before.
Yeah, day before to say, hey, I know you were flying, but now you're driving and we're leaving earlier. You're like
5 hours earlier. Yeah,
I had plans.
They originally asked me, could you leave at 11 a.m.? I was like,
no, dude.
I'm working at this brand new job. I cannot leave.
Yeah, I mean, shows went good, so that's why you feel better about it. But still,
yeah.
That was bull to have to deal with, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't fun, but it was like the thing I also wasn't a fan of was there was a contract that said you're going to get paid for this many work days and this many travel days, and because I didn't travel Sunday,
it's one less pay.
It's one less payday, and it's like not a huge amount of money. And I brought it up. And they were like, no, we did that to cut costs. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's not fair because they tell you you're going to have these days and then you're expecting that pay. And then for them to last minute cut you on that, now you lose that money. That's bull. That is so bull.
But it was, I don't know. I guess this is a good conversation to have then. It's like, because I still want to have a relationship with these guys and work with them. But,
and you need to set a standard.
And I will say, this is the first time something like this has happened. This is not typical. This is atypical with this company. And they've always been very good. They take care of me. They pay me well and they put me up and it's nice. But I was just like, this is not what we usually do, guys. Come on. So I don't know. What would you do? What would you have done? I want to know what you would have done. I got my flight information the week before, the day before. They say, actually, we're driving. Sorry, no one told you we switched your plans. And then also you're going to lose a travel
Here's the
day.
thing is I would be upset, but I would do the car ride, but I would demand that Sunday pay.
That travel day?
That Sunday pay that you promised.
I sent a text because I didn't get a chance to talk to the guy.
So I think you're too nice about it the way I would be. I would immediately not be nice.
Really?
I wouldn't be mean, but I'd be stern. I'd be like, okay, well now I refuse to lose money that you promised me. So you will pay me the Sunday pay or else I will not do this anymore.
Oh, really?
Dude, that's that's so cheap and scaly and slimy. That's so slimy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't completely disagree, but I'm also then at the point of view, it's like do I be a hard ass about it? And then say, okay, and then they could say, okay, never mind, we don't want you for any more of these.
Depends on how much you value the gig.
I value it.
And
I'll put up with some crap, but there is a limit. And there
is a limit, and the limit is messing with your money. And and I know you won't say on here what the number was, but I know it was more than 50 probably. Which is just enough to be like, okay.
Well, it was a travel day pay. So,
which is, we'll bleep it. What is it? Yeah.
That's like what I make.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. You cannot lose. No.
Yeah.
No.
My whole thing was, and I was texting with him and I called Justin. I was like, hey, am I in the fault here? Or like what's going on? He's like, no, you're completely right. But contracts sometimes is just like, there's nothing necessarily binding, and for that number, once you get a lawyer involved, if you really want to get to that point, it's like then that number just like you're spending so much more. So it's
Can I tell you what I think the problem is, and this stems from a compliment, right?
Okay,
is that here at the theater we go above and beyond what our role is.
Yes,
you know what I mean. That's not this like outside, like that's not like for contractors.
Yeah.
You think with a union mind and you do your money and you make sure you get all the money you were promised and you do exactly your job and nothing more.
Yeah.
And nothing less. And I think and I've noticed it with myself too, is that outside of here, I don't care about doing more than what's on my job because it's like, well, it's a part of the job.
Yeah.
Not really. Here it is.
If I were an employee of that company, I would feel differently. But I do agree because I am a contractor. I was like, I'm not involved in your financials. I need to worry about my financials.
Them do this again.
No.
The moment that they go, we're going to change plans and travel back on Saturday night, you go, okay, but I'm getting paid for Sunday still because that's what we agreed.
That was in the text I sent because I didn't get to talk to him while I saw him. I was like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and charge you for this day because that's what we agreed on, if that's okay. And he immediately was like, no, you can't do that. He said, you can't do that. I was like, I feel like I can.
Excuse me, what about the contract that we agree upon?
But
and for you to change
at
it
the same time, I was like, I don't want to be a hard ass about it. And I'm getting paid pretty well for these other jobs because it's a multiple weekend gig.
Yeah.
And in the contract is just lump sum the money in
I think
one
here's
bill,
what you got to do is this year, write it out. Any of this stuff is going to really suck, but you deal with it. And then next year, before talks go again for the new run, get as many gigs lined up as you can. Tell everybody yes, and be like, one mistake and I'm gone. And you go,
I
you
don't-
did
I
this,
don't-
this, and
that
this, and
se-
this,
that
and this
seems
last
way
year.
too harsh.
And
for
I have
me.
all this other stuff that I can do outside of this. You cannot mess with my money again, or else I'm gone.
Well, they offered me more weekends, and I said, I sorry, I can't. I have other plans, or I have other gigs, and I can't do
yeah.
them. And this year I did ask for more money than last year when they met me somewhat in the middle.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was happy to take the dates I did. So I mean, I don't know.
I just
and
want
again,
you to be-
this is very atypical of the people.
Well, and
so-
you need to protect yourself first before the gig.
In because I'm a contractor, yes, I agree.
Yeah,
with you.
and that's
I
what I'm
agree
just
with
saying. Don't let this become a habit.
you. Yeah,
for them.
No. Yeah,
You need to set a standard of like, hey,
Yeah.
I am not W9 to you.
yeah. I'm 1099, buddy.
Yes. And I'm paying tax on this later, so you give me everything I promised.
Yeah, because now Sunday was just like, cool. I have a day off, which I'm totally fine. But
Yeah.
I was like,
But
I
also,
could've-
you
I could've
think about
lined-
it.
I could have lined something else up.
Well,
I could've
but
done
think
something.
about it. If it was what the original plan was, you were going to fly in on Sunday, be home by noon, and still have
Not
most
even.
of it.
I was gonna be home at like 8:30 in the morning.
Exactly. You still could have had all day, regardless. And then they messed with, like, so it didn't matter. They just were cheap because
Yeah.
you were going to get home at the same time anyway.
Yeah.
You
It was
drove
a
back
matter-
on Saturday night.
It was a
Sunday
matter
morning.
of them paying for a flight in a hotel room for one more night.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? What's weird is that the band stayed.
See,
So
and that's,
some people stayed.
and that's exactly what I'm talking
Well,
about.
here's the deal. Some people stayed the night, and I do think it was because they just couldn't find a flight
Enough.
Saturday night, we drove because we live here in Nashville. Other people don't. Weren't flying back here. Not everyone was local to here,
Okay.
so that's probably why. As I say that, but they couldn't find a red eye flight or something, so they said, "Okay, just stay one more night, fly out early the next morning."
It's tough.
Yeah, it was. I'm not a big fan of how it went down, but also, it's that conversation of what do you do when you want to keep working with someone? How much crap do you eat? Not that I'm eating a ton of crap, but there was crap.
Yeah, and they ate your pockets and took
A little bit, yeah,
money from you.
yeah. I don't know. Leave your comments. Leave your comments in the comments.
I
don't
maybe
know.
was a little harsh there for the moment, but it's
No,
also
but-
like you gotta.
But I also see that. I definitely see that. It's like,
It's gonna sound bad to the listener that doesn't get know the
Yeah.
side of it. They're gonna
well,
sound like
no
I'm being
one's gonna
harsh,
put
but-
up for you. You're the only one there for you, and it's a
knowing
job,
your-
and you got to get paid.
Knowing your role as a part-time employee for the company versus being a contractor to yourself, the
Yeah.
standards are much different, and the lines are much
Yeah.
harder. When you're a contractor, the line is not you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a hard line of what is set. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
And no one at that.
Because here we meet
Yes.
we pay our contractors. They're gonna get their rate if they work an hour or all 10. They're gonna
Yeah.
get the same rate.
Oh yeah.
And there will never
Doesn't
be
matter.
a problem. We will never once go, oh well.
Actually, you're really only here for an hour and a half. I'm going to pay you for 2 hours. How about that? Like, no, that won't happen.
And
And
every
if
time,
it does, they will never work here
and every
again because they're
time
going to
we
quit.
go overtime, we honor to the overtime to the minute, basically.
Yep.
And as far as meals, if you don't get your meal, you charge me back for it. I'll pay you for it.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've got to have a standard and set it for everyone, and you
Yeah.
can't pick and choose who applies to your standard and who doesn't for them. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? They've got to set it and they got to rock with it, and they can't keep going loosey goosey on you because they can
Yeah.
go loosey goosey in house. Contractors, they gotta. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean by you can have a
Sorry.
great relationship. No, you can have a great relationship with someone you're working with, but then don't let them abuse it. Now I'm not saying that this is that type of thing, but in a different scenario, they could be like, "Oh, well, you don't mind doing this," and "Oh, you don't mind just not getting paid what you usually want." We're buddies. It's like, no, man. If you're using me for job A and then you throw in job B too, it's like, I like to get paid for both of
Yes.
those.
And it's not
please.
like the day before they had the flight, and then the next day we're like, actually, flight fell through. It was
No, they
weeks in
canceled it.
advance, and they
Well,
canceled it.
You know
to
what's
save money.
crazy? In the contract, because I actually read some of it, it said you were going to have your flight 30 days before the event. I was emailed my flight a week before.
Yeah,
Which is like-
yeah, that's
And
strike
it's,
two.
again, it's not a shot at them. It's just like I've signed this thing that we're both saying, yes, this is legally binding. This is what we're going to do. And I feel like I try to follow through on every single part. And if I'm not, let me know, and I will do my best to correct it.
Yeah.
But then when I try to say something to you, it's like, oh well, this and that, and I'm like, come on, let's not do this double standard.
See, exactly. You got to call them on their
Yeah,
BS.
and that's why I said something, because I could have not said something and been like, well, honestly, if I didn't say anything, I just would have invoiced them for the 2 travel days, and then they would have been like, bro, what are you doing? I'll be like, bro, what are you doing? I signed something saying this is what it is.
Yeah.
That I don't know. It was a weird thing, because I mean I know these guys too, and I do like working with them. So,
and
I don't know.
And like I met the one guy the one time.
Yeah,
when I did that thing, and he was nice enough. But like, like, if you're gonna set a standard, you gotta uphold it, and you can't be surprised when someone calls you on your BS.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. On their side, not I'm saying for them. You know what I mean. If you call them on it, they can't go like, well.
Yeah, make a face.
No.
I don't know. At the end of the day, a contractor is not responsible for a company's financials. They're responsible for their own financials. As much as they are not responsible for your financials, you have to be your guy. You have to be your own guy to go and get what you think you deserve. So.
Exactly. You got to fight your own fight. Yeah.
Man, I like that. That was good. That was constructive, I feel like. Not that I can go change anything that happened, because, and this is not to diss on that company or anything, but it was just something that happened. I think we should share.
Yes, because you have I think some gigs coming up, so we don't want to.
Yeah. I don't think they even listen to this, so it doesn't matter. No. But no, we're about at that time.
Remember, I have a transition in mind.
Oh,
I have
whatever.
I have a transition.
Do your thing.
Okay, so before we get to our song of the week in the middle of the episode. On the Thursday when Massimo was driving to Atlanta when he was supposed to be on a flight,
thanks.
I was playing in a basement with my Helix for the More Weight show.
Ooh, this man bought a Helix.
So that's what we'll get to after Song of the Week. I wanted to tease you a little bit. But, so.
This is the last solo episode. We got to point that out.
Yes.
Last solo episode.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
We're gonna make, we're actually going to do not one, but 2 songs of the week.
Yes,
because we will each pick one, and we'll do like
now that I remember.
Seconds
now that I remember, this is the last solo episode. I have a More Weight announcement.
Oh, well, no. I mean,
it's a separate thing.
Okay, never mind.
We are going back on tour.
Woo!
In November. It's the second. Oh, now I'm forgetting the dates. So the second weekend of November. We're playing. It's technically 2 shows on a tour, but
wait. No, because we're gonna go see a show.
It's after that.
Oh, thank God.
That's the first. I guess that's maybe okay. Technically, maybe it's the 3rd weekend. It's
the first and second are the Friday, Saturday.
Oh yeah, no.
Technically,
it's the 3rd weekend.
Okay.
Because I think it's the 15th and the 17th of November, which is a Friday and a Sunday.
Because I'll just say the 8th we're probably gonna go see Creed.
yeah. But I was
like, we have to go see Creed.
We're doing a show in Memphis at the Haven House again.
Is this all booked up? Like it's happening?
We went there last time on our tour, and they asked us to come back. So I'm so excited to play. If I remember correctly, that's that how. Remember we played that barn that had all those amps, so we lined them up. So it was like a wall of amps at that place.
That's nice.
So and now I'm running a Helix.
For looks.
And then we're coming back to Nashville to play. I believe the name of the venue is the Arcane House, something like that.
I've never heard of it.
It's like a I've never been there, but I've heard really good things. I think it's in East-ish. Nashville. In Nashville.
I mean, that checks out. It's probably over in East.
Look out for that. We're also probably check out our Instagram for any other stuff. I've been teasing that song thing for a month now. I don't have any official times for stuff, but I actually do know the date it's going to come out, but I can't because I gotta finish it.
This is going out way later than right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think how later this is coming out.
This is definitely into October when this comes out.
Then I'm going to shut my mouth, but check our Instagram. I'm going to shut my mouth, but check our Instagram.
We'll look at the break.
Anyway, we do this show called the Strawberry Basement. It's because we played a show with a band called Strawberry Berry.
Okay.
And that's the band. Then they have a house. I know. And then they run a venue called Strawberry Basement. And then they have something else, like another strawberry something soap brand that they were selling at the show.
Okay.
Anyway, they wouldn't allow us to bring in any of our own drinks, alcohol or water or anything. We had to get it from them.
Or water?
They tried to give me a snink about my liquid death, and I said, "It's my liquid death. I'm drinking it." Anyway, I guess they were
That's right.
fine.
You tell them.
They were fine with waters, but they had waters they were trying to sell too.
Yeah, but like you're the band.
I know. But then
Okay,
they didn't
that's
allow us
so
to bring
dumb.
in any alcohol. All they had was 3 beers on tap that were drilled into the front of a refrigerator and written on like a whiteboard, super scribble. And it was so...
What kind of place is this,
Dude,
Brendan?
and you know my OCD.
Yeah.
Not a chance I was touching any one of those. So I had to do the whole show, no drinks. I was there for 4.5, 5 hours.
Unbelievable.
Which
Could you
I know
believe
sounds
he
terrible.
did a show with no
I know
alcohol?
that sounds terrible.
Terrible.
But every more weight show, I normally have a drink or two.
At least one, yeah.
I don't even get tuned up because I'm not even that type of guy.
No.
But it's just the getting loose before the show.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I mean, that's valid.
And Maddie had nothing to... Nobody... We were all sober sitting...
Did Jacob or anyone? They didn't have anything? Wow.
Dude, no.
I can't imagine doing what he does.
And this basement was... So the stage we played on was maybe like 10 feet wide and maybe 4 or 5 feet deep. So it was relatively decent size. We played on smaller stages, right? It was bigger than the stage at this. But
Raised rowdy.
the audience is an 8x8 room in front of us.
Nice.
Maybe an 8x8 in a basement with black tarps on the wall. And they had a haze machine down there. So it was so hard to breathe because it was all hazy and dry.
What kind of place is this?
Dude, and then they had like, you know those lights that we have at Dark Horse that like have all the different modes on them? They had them like drilled into the ceiling pointing down at the stage, but they were all on like strobe crazy mode. And dude, honestly, it was tough. We played great and all the bands were awesome. The venue was a little tough. I'm not going to lie. But I know that I'm not the only one that feels that way, so I don't feel nervous to say that. But we played a great show.
Is this getting to the song of the week?
Yes.
Okay.
And we played second on the bill. And it was a tour for the band JVK. They played third. It was awesome. They were great. Patchwork played their first show. My guy Max, who works at Eastside Music Supply. He opened the show with his new band. They were great. And then us. And then JVK. And then Shut Eye, which is my old roommate Flick's band.
It's a good name.
With
good
bass player. His name is Aiden Sloppy. His real last name is Sloppy. He is the guitar tech for Midland.
Yeah. Oh, this guy.
And then he plays bass and drums for a bunch of other people in town. And then he's a bass player of Shut Eye. He's the man. And their drummer's name is Zach. I can't remember his last name because he's new to the band. No. But it's funny. There was 3 Zachs playing that night.
Oh, cool.
And they were all drums. Anyway. And to end the show, Jacob went on stage with Shut Eye to play a song, which is my song of the week.
Oh, boy.
And that song is Covet by Basement. Basement's a band I'm really getting into. And this song,
Covet
if you've
by
been
Basement.
the name of the song is Covet. The band name is Basement.
Okay.
Such a banger.
Okay, that's yours. Mine, I have a way shorter story to get into mine.
Sorry.
I worked, actually, it was when I came back from the day, because I drove back Saturday, the next day, Sunday, I had to load out the Ryman. But I asked the stage manager, I was like, is there any way I can come watch the show? Because it was a band, I know one album by them, and I was like, I would love to go see them. Because it's Keane, and they're from, Britain or not here. So I don't know when they'd be back. And it was the 20th anniversary of
the album you knew.
The record I knew. And I was like, I gotta go. I told her, I was like, I'll even just stand in front of the house. I don't even care. She's like, yeah, it's fine. I was like, yes. So I went. Awesome show. It was so good. Yeah. And even some of the songs I didn't know, I was like, these are kind of bops. And I will be listening to these, which I have been. And that's one of the songs. And the song I'll be doing is Silenced by the Night by Keane. So say yours again.
Silenced by the night.
I hate that you did that.
Silenced by the Night by Keane.
Yeah. Keane.
Keane, sorry.
Keane.
Oh, Keane. Okay, nice. And then mine was Covet by Bassman.
Covet by all right, here they are.
When I'm with you, I don't wanna be with you. White hair and a hopeful smile. Your inside is on your outside. I need a pleasant surprise. In a city like mine, there's no point in fighting. I close my eyes, see you and me driving. If I am a river, you are the ocean. Got the radio on, got the wheels in motion. We were silenced by the night, but you and I, we're gonna rise again, divided from the light. I wanna love the way we used to then. I lie in the dark, I feel.
Boom. I said a boom, chicka boom.
Okay, we're back. Hope you enjoyed those two very different songs.
Yeah.
We just listened to a second of them because after I was done, I was like, Brendan, what genre is your song? He was like, yeah, it's like kind of Deftonesy. I was like, that is not what mine is.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the transition from one to the other.
I think mine's better, but
Okay.
So you got this Helix.
All right, yeah. Before we get out of here, we should talk about this Helix.
I wanna hear because before I left, I think you had just got it, and their first gig was with Sevi with this Helix.
Yeah.
And you've experimented even more since I've been away.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
So if you're not familiar with the Helix, it's an amp modeler essentially. So it's digital, so it is a big computer basically. There's nothing analog about it, but
Well, there's buttons on it.
yeah, but that's controlling digital
Yeah,
values.
but there's physical.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I got a notification. So I saw a good deal on Facebook. I've wanted one for a while because it's so flexible and with the different gigs I do, and I hate being a pedal stomp, like hitting 3 pedals in one train. I hate doing all that. I hate it.
I think that I don't use pedals, but I think it's kind of fun. If you just
See, you think it's fun, but then you're playing and you're trying to sing and you can't, and then you hit the wrong pedal, and then when you hit the wrong one, you turn the knob on accident, and then it's all of a sudden you go to turn it on, it's like that kind of stuff is what I
that sound
hate.
again.
So it's that kind of stuff that I hate. And the nice thing about this is that, it's all digital. So you set it and it just saves. And so it's the same every time. The thing that I hate the most about my performances is the inconsistency in tone, and especially with gain staging with more weight, like the inconsistency of me trying to get the gain right every show. I hate it. So I bought this Helix for a really good deal off Facebook. Shout out the guy on Facebook I bought it from. He was super nice.
What's his name?
I don't remember, but I met him in the Trader Joe's parking lot. So shout out that guy.
Okay. Yeah.
And my first gig was with Sevi, which wasn't anything crazy. I use a bass amp and head sim. I think I had a compressor on there, the volume pedal, and then a couple gain stages and an octave down funk like blended in, right?
Yeah.
If I wanted to, I could turn it on.
No.
And I had a couple gain stages so that if I wanted to get a little bit gritty, but nothing crazy. Basically like church gritty, where it's like not actually gritty, but like it's a little overdriven. You know what I mean?
Yeah, church gritty.
And it went
Gritty in the
great.
church.
I just went DI out into the front of house using
Yeah.
an amp and a head sim, which is an Ampeg rig, which I use an Ampeg rig on stage before I had this, but
Also, side note, I think they're using an M32 at the right.
yes, as an M32.
Okay, just
yes,
wanna-
or maybe it was an X32, but whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah. And that went great. I really couldn't hear myself too much, but I can tell like the sound of coming out of the sub if it's good or not. And the thing that I noticed the first time about it when I use it at rehearsal for Sevi is it was so even on like the fretboard. Like as I play higher notes, the low end was still there, and as I got low, it didn't overwhelm. Go.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if that means that there's like a built-in compression that it's doing or something, but it's doing it great. If there is. Kind of like the whole how Logic has a sound. Well, I think it sounds good. So what's the problem? That kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
But it's such a high quality software. Like the last modeler I was using, the Boss GT1B, was great for what it was because it was my introduction basically into modeling, and it made my life so easy. But like this was just taking it up to the next step, and like I can have, I think it was like 7,000 different presets and snapshots on that thing.
7,000.
And that's just different presets and tone settings. And dude, like the possibilities are endless on this thing. And so for the Sevi show, it went great. And like other people that night were using modelers and stuff. So like it made sense, right?
Yeah.
Go to do the More Weight show. And I love my guys. And but that is like the type of guys that are like anti Helix, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, Max, my guy in Patchwork, works at Eastside Music Supply. All he does is sell guitar pedals.
Yeah.
Jacob in More Weight hates the modelers, although he uses a knurl for his other gig and he loves that. He doesn't want it for More Weight for him, right? And I've been saying for a while time at a rehearsal, I want one.
Yeah.
And they kept going, it makes so much sense for you, and I get why you'd get it, but I don't want it. I go,
Yeah.
Fair.
When
I showed up with it, the amount of disappointing faces that I saw, but like partially as a joke to give me a hard time, but also like Max was like almost looked like I genuinely broke his heart when I said,
wow.
Hey, I have a Helix now. I sold my pedal board. And he was like his face dropped. He didn't like hug me. Like I was like,
You're
no.
dead to me now.
And then in the group chat after the show too. So let me
back up.
I go to the show, and what I do is I run, because I was using a real cab, right? This is the first time I did this at rehearsal, but this is my first time doing it on stage with a new rig that wasn't mine. Is I go out, I have an amp head simulation going on in the Helix, but I turn off the amp cab simulation, right? So I'm just simming an amp head. And if you heard that signal alone, it would sound absolutely terrible because it's all like distorted, but it's a powered signal essentially at that point, right?
Yeah.
So, but in the Helix, it's not. So what you do is you go 1/4 inch out, just out of the normal output, right? You go into the effects return on the guitar amp, which if you're not familiar with that, like what you would do is you do all your distortion into the front of the amp and then take the effects send, which is essentially like an aux send out of it, in through like your effects, like your reverbs and your delays and stuff. So that is getting the amp signal. And then you take it back into the return. So it's all coming out, but it's like a 4 cable method. You know what I mean? But all I did was just return it back. So all the amp was getting was my sim sound, but not in the input. That way it wasn't using the preamp on the head. All it's using is the power amp on the head.
Oh.
So all it's doing is powering my signal to send in the cab.
Yeah.
It's not coloring it or toning it at all.
It's just the power.
And then all the amp does is just the master. And that's all it is volume.
For volume,
And
yeah.
everything else comes from the pedal.
That's nice.
And everyone, Grace, who was our More Weight's former manager for a while, and she's a good friend of ours, she came out to me and she's a bass player after the show. She said, it's the most even tone you've ever had. And it was amazing. I said, thank you. Appreciate it. And she's a bass player. She didn't give you too much stink about it when I first said I had a Helix.
Because she probably got it.
Because I think she was like,
Yeah.
okay, this might be sick. And then Max came up to me after the show and he was like dog, like puppy eyes, like, hey, it sounded good. I was like, hey, it's all love. I love you, man. But it was just funny because we've talked about it so much in this podcast because I asked people about it, is like the decisiveness and how people perceive modeling versus real amps and real pedals versus digital. And I've experienced it in the one show where it goes great and another show where it goes great also, but it wasn't the fan favorite. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But it's perfect for me. And even now I have a preset on there where I plug into a little bass amp that I have on my desktop and I play guitar through it. But it sounds so good, and I have all these reverbs, and I can get super lush. And then I got the chorus, and I have like the auto filter, so it's like Grateful Dead stuff, and all this gain. Like, it's just, the possibilities are endless. There's loopers in there.
Well, it ends at 7,000.
That's true, but name me one person that's going to need over 7,000 snapshots in one night.
Look, man, I don't know what you're gonna do.
I know tours are big, but that's a lot. It's a lot.
If you did if there was like a 30-song set, and each portion of each song you needed a different snapshot.
Well, and you know what's perfect about having this now is like for more weight. So on the last record we used the neural amp sim, but we used the same one for both tones. Now Jacob has that. He has that neural quad cortex for his other rig, and now I have my Helix. Yeah. The left ear can be the Helix. Bless you.
Thank you.
The left ear can be the Helix. I was waiting to see if you had another one coming.
Oh, fair.
The left one can be the Helix. The right can be his, and we can have like, dude, the possibilities are endless. And now I can track guitars that sound good at high gain stuff in my apartment.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, that is true,
dude.
That is
and
nice.
I also, you know what's cool on it? It has a acoustic guitar simulator. So if I needed to play acoustic live,
You just plug
but I have an electric.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing a show all electric, then I need to be acoustic.
I
like,
just
dude,
saw someone do that.
You
Was
know
that
who? You know who did it? Six Wire did it when they played that Boston song.
Really?
Because he's on electric guitar. He's not going to switch to acoustic for one pre-chorus or whatever. So you just click it on, and then your electric sounds like, and because you make it a snapshot, you have it so when you tap that, all your effects and stuff turn off. So it's just acoustic.
The dry acoustic, which is
and then when you hit your other snapshot,
it comes back
it's
on.
everything else is back. Dude,
That's crazy.
I know. I now want to learn that song just to do it in my room.
In real time.
There's also a feedback thing on there. So like, you know how like Joe Satriani has that pickup in his guitar that when he switches to it, just feeds back. It's got it in pedal form, so I can click it on and have it so that I just stand there and play a note and it goes and feeds back, and then I can tremolo. And then I also can set it to be on like a hold instead of a click on and off.
Yeah.
So I can have it so whenever I'm holding the button down, it's working, but whenever I release it, it doesn't.
Man, I should learn how to play guitar. All that to say.
It's awesome. And I get the hate because I do get it. And if you're an analog guy, you're an analog guy. Actually, one of the guys that I sold my pedal to, because I've been selling off my other pedals. I sold a bass overdrive to this guy outside of SIR. And when I'm selling it to him, I said, yeah, I just bought a Helix, so I'm selling off my pedals. He goes, dude, I might buy a Helix. I might hit you up to talk about a Helix. I'm like, I'm selling you my pedal right now. But okay, I'll convince the masses. So now I'm officially a Line 6 Helix
Sponsored
user.
by Helix.
I would love to be sponsored by Helix because, and Line 6. It's Line 6, not Helix. It's Line 6 because good sounds. And I get the hate if you're an analog guy, but you got to try.
Sponsored by them. I want to be sponsored by Zildjian.
I want all this to say, if you don't like modelers but you've never tried them, and not like a terrible one from like 2004, like a good one now, I think it's fair to be standoffish at first, but I don't think you can say you don't like it or not until you've tried it.
Okay. So let me
as
try
a guitar player, or as
try it.
Okay. Next time you're over, I'll plug you into my Eddie Van Halen thing.
That's what I want.
Nah. And I'll get the drill out, and you can
do the beginning of Pound Cake by Van Halen. Yeah,
dude. The other day I pulled up the thing and I just went bow wow bow. Dude, it sounds so good. It's so good. Shout out Helix.
That was good. All right, before we get out of here, we want to mention the rest of the season to you. We've got only one more episode left in the regular season. We have a guest we think will appease the masses as our final guest.
Yes.
He's looking
there's
forward.
Already a little bit of a, it's a he.
That really narrows it down. Yeah. He's really looking forward to coming on. We're looking forward to having him. We have no idea what we're going to talk about. We have a couple ideas, but who knows where it's gonna go? I'll say that.
That's so true.
And then after that, maybe a couple special things. Yeah,
Maybe
for
some holiday episodes like we did
holiday.
last year.
Yes, maybe a returning guest,
Maybe some returning guests.
and then a big new one.
Yes, which I'm excited
Also
for.
with a returning guest, technically.
Technically,
Technically, yes.
Technically, yes.
But man, this has been a fun season so far.
Yes.
So far at the end now. Way more. I think last year we did what, like 22 episodes?
I think so.
23,
And this one's 30.
30 in the regular season. Yeah.
Yep. And we had significantly more guests than we had
Oh, yeah.
last season.
If you guys enjoyed all the guests, please let us know.
Yes.
We worked hard to get them. And
Yes.
lots
Let
of
us know.
communication.
Do you want more guests? Do you want more solo episodes? Let us know. Let us know.
I personally enjoy the guests.
Me too.
episodes.
I just
those.
want to hear what the fans have to say.
Yeah, all the fans.
All
tens of them.
Yep.
Anyway.
I also want to say shout out to Jacob from Morway, who's listening to the podcast now, but he's like way back. Like
Yeah.
he's listening right now in real time for like today for us filming. He's listening to like the episodes before we went on the Morway tour in like May. So eventually he's gonna catch up to this moment right here. Shout
and
out.
he'll hear it. Yeah.
shout
Hi, Jacob.
Yeah, let us know in the comments anything you want,
Yeah, for next season
for
or
next
something.
season and just keep an eye on us. All of our stuff that we have going on
Mm-hmm.
when we take our little break here, and also this, you never know what else. Maybe we'll release some like snippets of season highlights or whatever. We've talked a lot about stuff we wanna do,
vertical content,
and we'll see what happens. But just keep an eye out, and thanks for listening. all
Yeah,
season.
and watching and all this stuff. We'll be back next week for a wonderful, wonderful guest.
Yep.
It's gonna be something. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It's gonna
It'll be
be
fun.
something. Well, you can follow the podcast at Podcast The Green Room on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok. I guess we're there.
Mhm.
You can follow me, Massimo D Music on Instagram, not Facebook. I honestly, by the
Maybe
time
by
this
next
comes out,
season.
no, by the time this comes out, I might just start a new one.
Okay.
I'm real fed up.
Here's the thing.
Real fed up.
We will talk about it on the 30th episode if he still has if he has a new Facebook by then or not. So you'll hear next
probably
week.
won't.
Probably won't. That's
I don't even
true.
have the time to think about.
Hopefully by next season he'll have a new
Hopefully by the end of the year.
yeah.
Anyway, got some cool stuff coming up on. By this point, I have another drum cover that just dropped. That this man mixed.
Which one?
Mr. Brightside.
Oh yeah. It was fun.
Yeah. If you like the Killers, check it out.
And that's the first mix where you can hear my 1176 live in action.
Yes, I'll put the link in the description below. I really hope this comes out after that. I'm pretty sure it does, but
If not, you got something to look forward to.
that's right. But I'll put the link below. I'm gonna be maybe putting out one more. I'll definitely be putting out one more video before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And it'll be good. Okay, Brendan, what you got?
I mean, follow more weight. Obviously, like I said earlier, we have our tour coming up and potentially some new stuff coming out. We're writing new stuff right now. We just played some new songs at the show last week, actually. So, keep an eye out. Follow me on Instagram. You know that we have talked about our joking idea of doing a jam band, and the more I think about it, the more I want to do it. But I don't know where to start with it.
But if we
so,
did it, we'd film it and put it up on the YouTube channel. Like,
Yeah,
I
we'd-
would. That's
we'd
what I
put,
would
like,
want to do.
2 or 3 cameras up, record a left, right off the front of house console,
Mhm.
or if it's the right place, take the tracks and we mix it.
I want to mix that thing.
Maybe we split it before intermission, after intermission. You mix before, I mix after.
Ooh, and if you hate one of them,
Yeah.
all
Pro
right.
Tools versus Logic. That's
Yeah,
what that is.
Ooh, in real time, literally.
That's funny.
Or half a song. You can really tell if half the song is in Pro Tools and half the song is in Logic.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's going to switch.
One of it's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Follow me on Instagram
Um,
and come to the Franklin Theater.
come see the Franklin Theater. We have a lot of holiday shows coming up. It's the middle of
Yes.
October, so we got all this scary things.
And I just want to
happening.
say, I didn't even tell you I was going to say this. I want to shout out Jaron, our buddy Jaron. He's just the man. And
Jaron, how
he's
do you
been
say his
so
last
busy.
name?
Jaron Pangelin or Panget.
That's why I let you do it.
Something like that. I'm sorry, Jaron. I love you.
We
though.
love you. Hey,
Jaron's the man.
Jaron got me this rhyming gig.
Jaron got me my rhyming gig when I worked there for a while.
Dude, Jaron's the man.
He's such a hard worker and he's doing so well right now, and I'm just happy for him.
And we should get him on next season
Yes.
because I'm sure he has a lot.
Okay,
more
we normally don't
knowledge.
say what guests we want to have on.
Yeah,
Hopefully next season Jaron will be on the
Definitely,
podcast.
if he's even in town to
He
come on.
probably
He's-
won't be.
It'll be like the week of. It's like
we'll have to get him
are you
on
free?
his off hours before the in between one show and the other show.
Yeah. Or like late at night, like 2 a.m. He'll come by. And
He would do that.
he would. I would do that.
I would too.
You got to be awake.
Yeah.
You go to bed at like 7 p.m.
Yeah, but if I go to bed at like 4, then by my math, I'll be up at like 1. So it's like perfect.
This has been the Green Room Podcast. Thanks, you guys, for watching, and we'll catch you in the last regular season episode
Yes.
next week. So please come back. Stay tuned. It's gonna be a good one. So
Yes. Peace.
ciao.